Supernatural, Hungarian style.
Sancho and Gabriel. The two childhood friends were in the middle of grinding some COD. "So, found a destination for the trip yet?" asked Sancho, while mowing down people with a few rounds. Gabriel's eyebrows shot up. "Me? But you were supposed to arrange that. We talked about this, didn't we?" "Oh, come on. You know what work is like here in England? I'm running around a restaurant all day. I'm lucky if I get 2 minutes to breathe." "Drop it. I don't have time for this right now," said Sancho cheekily. Gabriel muttered something under his breath. "Damn it. All right. I'll look for something, but don't expect too much," said Gabriel. Suddenly, someone shot Gabriel squarely in the head in the game. "What the hell? Some cheater headshot me again! Come on, that's not fair," whined Gabriel. Sancho just grinned slyly and immediately looted Gabriel. "You don't need these anymore, right?" And with that move, he'd already stripped his unfortunate teammate clean. "Hey, my stuff! That's garbage!" shouted Gabriel in vain. Gabriel fumed for a while. Then after a good 5 minutes, he came to a decision. "All right, enough of this trash heap for today. Now let's actually look for something together, you hear me? It's pointless playing this anymore. These cheaters are everywhere. We don't stand a chance," said Gabriel. Meanwhile, Sancho was already browsing the net. A sensationalist article caught his eye. This could be interesting, he thought. "Hey, check this out. I found a pretty interesting news story, and even if it's fake, the area is good for hiking. I'm sure it will be good." Sancho scratched his little beard. This is actually pretty good. So, what does it say?" said Gabriel. Around Matranovac, locals have been telling stories about the white-furred, 2-meter-tall Fanyvu tree gnawer for decades. But now, never-before-seen details have emerged. The legendary Hungarian Yeti, referred to as the king of the wilds, seems to have grown bored of the forest and has started taking urban strolls, at least according to a mysterious, blurry photo taken by an amateur researcher at dawn. According to local accounts, the Yeti tends to pick mushrooms, carry trees, and screech nervously when hit by strong light, which is why it always seems to vanish from camera lenses. This behavior aligns with some classic descriptions of the European Yeti, which state that the creature behaves in a disoriented manner, can't stand electric light, and is active at dawn. While science officially does not recognize the Yeti, many experts say previously found Yeti hair was actually bear or other animal remains. This hasn't dampened the local gossip and horror stories for a minute. Rumor has it the Hungarian Yeti has even wandered into local pubs. The latest internet theories claim the creature is actually the ancient guardian of the Matra Mountains, who even taught the conquering Hungarian chieftains a lesson. "Well, this is totally wild," giggled Gabriel. "We definitely have to visit this place. I'll tell Milan too. Hope he's free. It'd be a shame for him to miss it. Though he might have mentioned he'd be working. Oh well, I'll try anyway, just in case." Milan was in the middle of welding a steel structure. He was careful to ensure the seam was good. Luckily, for a master locksmith, this wasn't a problem, especially with a new inverter machine like this, which could produce master-quality work even in the clumsiest hands. The seam was finished and, of course, turned out perfect. That's when he heard his phone ringing. "Moshi Moshi." "Hey Milan, what's up? Are you free right now? Wanted to ask you something." "Well, I've still got this thing for today, but go ahead, I'm listening." "So look, Sancho and I found a great spot for a little hike. If we get lucky, we might even run into the Hungarian Yeti." "What?" laughed Milan. "What is this? Where did you get this from?" "I swear I didn't make it up. It was seen in Matranovac or somewhere. There's even a photo of it. Look, we'll go there, sniff around a bit, and if it's fake, at worst we'll knock out a hike." "When would we go?" asked Milan. "Well, Sancho is coming back from London in 2 weeks, so that's Saturday. What do you say?" "Okay, I'm in." "Super, then I'll pick you up Saturday morning and off to the Matra." "All right, Sancho. Milan can come too." "So you can't wiggle out of it now? You better be here in 2 weeks, or you're not getting a mattress, and you can sleep on the floor if you screw this up." "No way. I need the soft mattress. Everything hurts without it." "I must be getting old," grumbled Sancho. "Fine, but don't be late. We're waiting for you." Gabriel said goodbye. Time passed. Although the time for summer vacations hadn't quite arrived yet, people were already feeling great. The guys went about their lives. Weekdays, weekends, work, rest. Sancho, who had learned the ins and outs of hospitality through experience, could recommend a fine wine to anyone for any meal. The others just called him the wine baron behind his back, but it was more of a compliment than a mockery. On better days, fate blessed him with pleasant guests to whom he could show off his knowledge and serve the best nectars. The kind guests usually rewarded this with a tip, a kind word, or in other ways. Then there were the other days. For example, if Jimmy Brown wandered in, a self-proclaimed 19-year-old aspiring musician. True, due to the immense amount of alcohol, he looked more like a rough 40 or a well-worn 50. People like him only gave Sancho a headache. Plus, he had to drag their types out to the alley in the evening, and then he was forced to clean up thoroughly after them. After all, this was a decent place. The floor couldn't be sticky the next day like in the other joints on the street. Gabriel mostly worked from home for his company. It was impossible to do serious work as a back-end programmer in the downtown office. Those trendy, open offices were great for the girls to discuss their petty affairs, but that was all. They were unsuitable for real work. Still, sometimes he had to go in, of course. At those times, he socialized with the others and tried to survive the day. After lunch, it was a real challenge to find a quiet little nook where he could silently contemplate a tougher problem. Some people simply thought this was sleeping, but well, they aren't back-end programmers, are they? Milan, as an instructor, tries to hammer the metal industry into the heads of teenage boys. He does decent work, every day. He wants to teach the rascals everything, so that when their time comes, they can stand on their own 2 feet. It's a dangerous profession. It can't be taken lightly. But we all know what teenage boys are like. They're interested in everything except hard work. The little brats are constantly hanging on their phones or are late for class. Sometimes, Milan loses his patience too, and raises his voice to restore order among them. This works for a while, but usually it's a few days and the guys pick up right where they left off. Then the time for summer vacations arrived. Sancho waved goodbye to London by plane, which offered quite a nice view from above. He was happy that he would soon see his family, relatives, and friends again, and that he had a few weeks to think about something other than the eternal grind. Luckily, there were no issues, and he arrived in Budapest in barely 2.5 hours. It was a beautiful summer day, so the city showed its prettier face. Gabriel lived here too, in a quieter part. But that had to wait, because family comes first, and they were in the countryside. So Sancho returned to his home village, where he spent his childhood, with Gabriel among others. It took a few days to visit all the relatives and sort things out. He ate well, drank well, and tried to rest, with little success. Before the hike, of course, everyone had to acquire what was needed for such an adventure. Tough decisions are needed at times like this, regarding what to bring, since anything can happen. It matters how much weight we carry, and whether there will be a water source locally. Clothing must be considered too. We should avoid fashion statements and bring our well-proven, durable hiking gear instead of some junk. In the mountains, for example, it can rain quite heavily, and it matters whether we get soaked to the bone or not. We should preferably box up our phones, documents, and other electronic devices too. And of course, the various pieces of equipment that are essential: knife, fire-starting tools, tent, compass, map, and countless other things indispensable for a proper hike. Well, our birds didn't bother with any of these. They just threw in a few sandwiches and drinks and other useless things. They didn't have any plan other than going there and causing chaos. Of course, what did they have to fear? They didn't know much about Matranovac and its surroundings. In their eyes, it just seemed like a simple little village, like the rest. They considered themselves young titans in the prime of their strength, just like pretty much every other man their age. And that was as it should be. Everyone deserves the sobering slaps that life has in store for them. After they met up and talked things over, they finally set off. They left their little home village behind, which was usually the starting point for their joint outings. The journey passed cheerfully. Villages and towns came one after another. The landscape became increasingly varied and busy as they approached the capital. With some struggling, they bypassed it as best they could. The traffic started to decrease again, so Gabriel could finally admire the scenery too. They entertained themselves with stupid jokes or otherwise roasted each other a bit, as guys usually tease one another. Then suddenly, they arrived at the Matra. The landscape became even more beautiful from here on. Gabriel had to discipline himself to watch the road because there was certainly more and more to see. The guys were children of the plains. Even a small hill pleased them greatly, let alone a mountain. They looked longingly at the beautiful landscapes and the small but lovable villages hiding in the valleys. The roads started to get more winding as they went higher, but they were still wide, well-traveled roads around here, so there was no problem with that. After a while, the road got worse as they left the main routes. It increasingly resembled typical mountain roads. Luckily, the vehicle's wheels weren't torn off by a few unavoidable potholes, because it was an SUV after all. Then suddenly, Matranovac appeared out of nowhere, as happens with roads like this. There isn't usually much to see in a little village like this. A soccer field, a small lake, things like that. So they looked up a place online where they could catch their breath. For lack of a better option, they threw themselves into the local park to relax a bit. It was a pleasant little place. There was even a Trianon monument in it. Gabriel started stuffing his face, while Milan cracked open a few beers. "We really got screwed with this Trianon thing," said Sancho, eyeing the monument. "We sure did," the boys grumbled back. "We have no sea anymore, nor any serious mountains left, just these little sagging medium-height ranges," Gabriel grumbled. "Oh well." Imagine, I found the guy from the news on Facebook. What a character. He said he's not far and might be able to come too because he's free today. I'll ask him right now. "But who is he?" asked Milan. "The guy who was in the news. Lance, the self-proclaimed cryptozoologist," said Gabriel. They had a good laugh at this. "What on earth is that?" asked Sancho. "Hell if I know, but he must be quite a guy," replied Gabriel. "Hi, it's Gabriel. So, what's up? Are you free today?" All right. And when could you come?" 2 or 3 o'clock? All right, we'll look around the neighborhood a bit until then. Payment? You get beer and food. Isn't that enough? Look, just come on. You're the expert after all. What if we bump into it anyway and you miss out, huh? Okay, there's a shop here. We'll meet in front of it then. Bye. So the thing is, we have a few hours until Lance gets here. So let's go and look around. There are a few interesting things in the area besides the Yeti, said Gabriel. Okay, what do you have in mind? Asked Milan. Well, I saw an interesting white spot on the map not far from the village. Hope it's not toxic or anything, answered Gabriel. All right, But let's go somewhere now. Nothing interesting has happened today yet, grumbled Sancho. The team popped over to the eastern edge of the village, where they found a small camping rest area. Well, we could come this far by car. Looks like we have to leave it here, said Gabriel. No problem. It's about time for a little hike, rejoiced Sancho. Yeah, nice little place, added Milan. Good thing they left an older tourist map here for hikers. I'm talking about this white thing. Look. Gabriel pointed at the map. Uh-huh. Fehirshik. Interesting, murmured Sancho. I think I saw some long text on the info board. Let's see. Volcanic debris of explosive origin, product of about 6 major eruptions. The formation is mostly composed of fallen, avalanche, and redeposited rhyolite tuffs, whatever those are, said Sancho. According to the map, it's not far at all. I think we can fit it in before our expert arrives, said Gabriel. Totally, said the others. The team finally set off toward the strange formation. The road was pleasant. The guys were having a good time. Sancho was snapping photos with his favorite little camera, as always. They weren't rushing. They enjoyed the beautiful scenery and the fresh air that is unique to these wooded mountainous regions. Instead of constant city noise, listening to the chirping of birds and the gentle breeze blowing through the trees was a real relief. Shortly, they arrived at a part where this strange white slag-like material began to appear. Sancho examined it closer, picked it up, smelled it, almost licked it. Wow, it's so light, he said. Similar to perlite, I think, theorized Gabriel too. That's wild. Never seen anything like this in a forest, enthused Milan. Then suddenly they were standing in front of a really big thing made of this white slag. Bro, no way this is just sitting here like this, marveled Milan. Wild, said Sancho. Let's climb it, grinned Gabriel. And they were already swinging into action. Sancho, however, stayed. He didn't want to roll down and break his camera, since it was a fairly expensive machine. Plus, the boys were kicking up quite a bit of dust, which would just ruin the lens, so he watched from below as the guys conquered this slag hill. Well, Sancho, aren't you coming? It's really cool, shouted Milan down. No, I'll skip this one, shouted Sancho back. Too bad, because you can see even better things from here. Gabriel joined the shouting. I'd rather go around and meet you there, Sancho deflected. The guys messed around on top of the hill for a while, then threw themselves at other formations, each more exciting than the last. Now this is the stuff. Can we go along here? Rejoiced Milan as he balanced on a rather dangerous section. You're getting tougher, Frisco, laughed Gabriel and followed Milan. Sancho fell behind again because walking on this steep slag ridge seemed pretty dicey. One wrong step and you've broken your leg. Of course, he wasn't a coward, but he didn't want to risk his equipment. Are you chicken, McFly? Chicken, 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 teased Milan. Then the trouble happened. Milan's stupid footwear slipped on the slag, and what Sancho feared came to pass. Wah! Shouted Milan and flailed until he lost his balance. He started to fall. Luckily, Gabriel was behind him and caught his hand. Milan gripped it as if his life depended on it. Sancho got a little scared too. Although Milan had some weight, fortunately, he could brace himself with his legs too, so he managed to scramble out. Gabriel and Milan rested a bit after the big scare. Hey Milan, next time you could really bring some shoes, said Gabriel. You might be right, panted Milan. Sancho just shook his head, but he diligently took photos to preserve the two jokers for posterity. Of course, after this, they paid attention to where they stepped. The three good friends soon explored the whole area and tried out every hill. Time passed wonderfully, and when the meeting time approached, they said goodbye to the strange landscape and headed back. Going down was no problem. They moved at a steady pace. Then they were back in the beautiful green summer forest where the birdsong was continuous. They talked things over, joked around, and enjoyed the walk. The earlier little accident didn't weigh on them. They got a bit hungry too, but since the little campsite was close, they decided to grab a bite there. They arrived shortly. They were just about to sit down to eat when Gabriel's phone rang. "Well, look at that, just in time," said Gabriel.
Hello. You at the shop already? All right, we'll be right there. No, we don't have a girl with us.
I see. All right, look, we're leaving, okay? About 5 minutes. Okay, bye. Lance was already waiting for them at the small shop in the village. He didn't buy anything, since they agreed the guys would foot the bill. He leaned casually against the wall and tried to give off a very relaxed, cool impression. He was a lanky boy with a trendy hairstyle in cool clothes. Girls generally liked his company, but he didn't always get along with other guys. He was a bit nervous inside because of this, which is why he was pushing the posing a bit too hard here. He had been in this pose for a while, and his legs were starting to ache, and he was starting to get hot too. "What is going on? Where are they? Come on already. If I have to stand like this for another 5 minutes, I'll collapse," he muttered. Then he saw 3 guys in the parking lot whispering suspiciously to each other. "Oh God, I hope that's not who I think it is," whispered Milan. "Well, it really looks like it," whispered Gabriel. "Keep it down." Sancho hushed them. "What is he doing anyway? Is there a candid camera shoot going on here or what?" asked Milan. "But what should we do with him? I did invite him here after all." Gabriel sweated. "I don't think he's noticed us yet." "Let's make a French exit," advised Sancho. "All right then," the boys agreed.
Hey guys, did you call me here? I'm Lance, the cryptozoologist expert, he shouted to the guys.
"I thought you weren't coming because you changed your minds. Hey, where are you going now?" "Hello, I'm here, hello," he shouted.
Here? Well, you're here.
We were looking for you everywhere," lied Gabriel nervously. He tried to make a convincing face, but it didn't really come together. Well, that was pretty awkward, thought Lance to himself. Oh well, I'll just act like nothing happened. Not the first time this has happened, but I won't back down now. Come hell or high water, I'm going to be a cool guy. The others are here too. Let me introduce us properly. Hey guys, look! Lance, our expert, is here. Come on already! Hey, do you hear me? Over here! Gabriel shouted to the boys, who were still trying to sneak away. Although Lance was quite nervous, he squeezed out a greeting. "Hi guys, I'm Lance," he greeted the guys. "Hi Lance, we're very happy to see you." The boys waved, then finally came over. The conversation started with forced chuckling. Then they introduced themselves one by one. Sancho started. "Hi, I'm Sancho, the wine baron of London," cut in Milan, grinning. "The last waiter of the order," laughed Gabriel too. "Aha, don't mind them," Sancho waved it off, laughing. "They are like this." "Hi, I'm Milan." "The doom of hinges," retorted Sancho. "The Lord of Isengard, the steel gnawer," trumped Gabriel. "That's right," laughed Milan. "Hi, I'm Gabriel." "The last defender of servers," grinned Sancho. "The keeper of obsolete code," laughed Milan. "Yeah, something like that," agreed Gabriel. Poor Lance had his work cut out for him. This was a tight-knit group. If I want to fit in, I should say something really cool too, he thought. Well, I graduated from university last year and, well, humanities majors aren't exactly in high demand. Currently, I live with my parents, as I have so far. I've tried this and that, but haven't found what interests me yet. For example, because of clients like you, who are capable of paying for my expertise with beer and food, unfortunately, I don't earn much. Hummed the boys. Come on, there's nothing wrong with that. Everyone has to start somewhere. Maybe you'll make it big with this Yeti story, who knows? Gabriel tried to steer the negative thoughts away from the meager payment. Yeah, the others agreed too. You never know. At that moment, Gabriel's stomach relentlessly signaled with a deep, loud growl that lunch had been missed. Speaking of your payment, we haven't even had lunch yet. Do you know a place where we could eat something good? Asked Gabriel. Well, there isn't any serious place here, so let's go for your promised sandwiches. I know a good spot. Come on, answered Lance. The ice finally broke and the guys left the shop, following Lance, who had successfully joined the party. Lance's persistence seemed to have paid off. They finally accepted him. This is the great place? Asked Gabriel angrily. Why, isn't it? Asked Lance back, laughing, while trying in vain to get the seesaw moving. Oh, come on. It's noon and there's no shade here. I'm going to roast in a minute, grumbled Gabriel with his mouth full. I haven't been on a swing in ages, smiled Milan. After they ate lunch, they finally started up a path that led into the mountains. Lance led the team confidently. For now, the road was comfortable. The path wasn't steep, but it was quite stony. What a strange path. Totally stony, said Sancho. Really weird. Wonder why? Asked Milan. No one knew the answer. Rumor has it the Yeti was seen drinking at a nearby stream. There's some Savos well around here too, where we can rest. What do you think? Shall we check out both? Asked Lance. Sure, the boys replied instantly. How epic would it be if it was guzzling water right there in the stream? Laughed Milan. Sancho, keep the camera ready. We could get a bite at any moment, said Gabriel. You bet, laughed Sancho too. However, mountain paths are not as simple as tourist paths on the plains. They soon turned into steep inclines, and our heroes, softened by the easy life, certainly found it increasingly difficult to keep up with the young and feather-light Lance. Hey Lance, wait a bit. I'm about to cough up my lungs, wheezed Gabriel after an hour of steep climbing. This is too much all of a sudden, and my stupid slippers aren't really good for this either, panted Milan. But we've barely moved. We'll never get there at this rate, resented Lance. Do you even know which way to go? We've crisscrossed all sorts of paths. I've completely lost the thread, said Gabriel. Well, kinda. I checked it on the net a few days ago, and as long as we're going up, it shouldn't be a problem, I think, said Lance. Gabriel would have argued with this logic, but didn't have the strength, so they moved on. After another hour, Gabriel and Milan sat down again for a bit. Why did I eat so much at noon? Panted Gabriel. Isn't there an easier way? Asked Milan. We're almost there. Pull yourselves together, laughed Lance. Do you guys hear something? Asked Sancho. What do you mean? Asked Gabriel, though he was more occupied with trying not to throw up. Like some woman screeching somewhere, answered Sancho. I don't hear anything, said Lance. A woman? Where? Milan suddenly perked up. Great, just what I needed, grumbled Gabriel. Seems like it's coming from this way, Sancho started in one direction. Let's go! Finally, something interesting, enthused Milan. Are you sure? I don't hear anything, questioned Lance. It's definitely this way. Don't you hear it? Asked Sancho. But now I hear something too, answered Gabriel. Yeah, we're close, said Milan. Suddenly they emerged at a quiet little stream, on the bank of which a lady was wailing and clutching her leg. She was in light hiking gear, and from here it looked like she might not have any serious injury. Still, the guys rushed over, but the stream blocked their way. "Hey, are you okay?" shouted Sancho. "Oh!" The lady was startled for a moment. "Everything is fine. I just slipped on these slimy stones a bit," answered the lady. "Hi, I'm Olivia. Could you guys walk me back to the village? I'm not sure I could get down the mountain alone right now," Olivia asked them. "What about the Yeti tour now?" asked Lance quietly, a bit further back. Though Olivia heard them perfectly, "No problem, guys. You go ahead. I'll walk her back alone. You just go on," offered Milan generously and very enthusiastically. "Are you sure? I bet you have no clue which way to go back. Sure you don't need help?" grinned Gabriel. "He just has to go down. He'll manage, don't fear," laughed Lance. Olivia didn't like this so much for some reason. "So how are we doing this?" asked Sancho. "Milan will gallantly walk her back. We'll look around, then meet in the village," stated Gabriel. "Anyway, we've wasted a lot of time already, so we have to hurry if we want to get back to the village by evening too," said Lance. The guys introduced themselves while Olivia wiped her wound with a few clean tissues, then washed it with clean water too. It didn't look bad at all anymore. Milan stood ready for action next to Olivia to walk her down from the mountain back to the safety of the village, very slowly, attentively, over long hours, and potentially pocket the reward for the nightly deed. Well, we could slowly get going then. The guys need to hurry anyway to get where they want to go. Right, guys? Smiled Milan. Is this really a good idea? Seems like it's already starting to get dark. Shouldn't everyone go back? Answered Olivia, slightly nervously. Oh, come on. It can only be around 4 o'clock. How could it be dark now? The boys laughed. Or are you afraid that maybe Milan wouldn't be able to handle the situation? The guys giggled. But look at those clouds. They're so strange. Olivia looked up at the sky, and indeed, pitch black clouds were gathering above. In fact, the rain had already started to drizzle. The hopeful smile was quickly washed off Milan's face. Damn it! What is this? Where did these come from so suddenly? We couldn't see anything from the trees, the boys grumbled. Maybe they'll pass just as they came. It's just a few drops after all, they hoped. But what if they don't? Gabriel pondered. That would seriously suck, Sancho complained. So what happens now? Asked Lance worriedly. Oh, come on, boys, let's go. This could last for hours. It's definitely not happening today. Olivia cheered up. Hearing this, Milan's face fell even further.
I think she's right, said Sancho. Damn it, she's right.
Sorry, Lance. Looks like this Yeti hunt is shot, Gabriel realized. Hey, no way. What if it stops? Let's at least wait a little bit, Lance pleaded with them. The rain started coming down even harder. It was pouring now. So, how long are we waiting? Seriously, guys, we really should head out now. This is getting boring. Look how dense and dark those clouds are. There's definitely a lot coming down from those. I'm already completely soaked. Olivia pointed at the storm clouds in exasperation. This was no longer a game. A storm wind picked up, and the rain began to fall even harder. Suddenly, a lightning struck a tree on the other side of the stream. The sudden flash of light and the sound of the explosion froze everyone. They watched, paralyzed, as the tree burst into flames. We're all going to die! Screamed Lance in a panic. His eyes bulged, and he looked like someone who had lost his mind. Then, like a madman, he started running. "Hey, where are you running? Come on, come back!" shouted Gabriel after him. But it was in vain. Lance wasn't in a rational state, so he didn't listen to reason. Oh, good God, why? It was such a nice little day until now. Gabriel held his head. But eventually, all good things come to an end. He resigned himself to his fate. "What should we do now?" asked Milan. "We have to bring him back," said Sancho. "Of course. I'll go get him, don't worry. You guys start heading down, we'll meet up. This isn't the Alps, so it shouldn't be that big of a problem unless he falls off somewhere," answered Gabriel resignedly. "Great idea, but I think Sancho should go with you. I'll take Olivia down. Will that be okay, Olivia?" Milan perked up enthusiastically. "That's very sweet of you, Milan, but right now I'd prefer if we went in a group. I can see you're decent guys, but we still only just met," replied Olivia, slightly shyly. So the three of them started back down. "I would have managed alone too," grumbled Milan. "Aha, so that's why these paths are so stony, because they turn into streams like this. Watch where you step, this is starting to get dangerous." Sancho discovered the stony secret of the paths. "I hope everything will be okay with Lance," worried Olivia. The warning didn't save Milan. One wrong step and he was already tipping over. "Hey, watch out!" shouted Sancho, but luckily he caught him in time. "I had the exact same thing happen earlier, only there was no one with me," said Olivia. "Everything okay?" asked Sancho. Damn it, my leg hurts." "Sancho, help me out, please," Milan asked his good friend. So they limped on together. "Hey, look at that tree! I feel like we passed this just a moment ago," shouted Milan. "Man, you're right. Which way are we supposed to go? Don't tell me we're going in circles." Sancho got scared. "We're lost!" they cried out in unison. After they parted ways, Gabriel resignedly wiped the water from his face, which was about as useless as doing so in a swimming pool. "All right then," he thought. "Time to get it together." He pinpointed the direction Lance's shouting came from and took off after him. Lance was running for dear life somewhere, shouting all sorts of nonsense. Gabriel soon lost sight of him, but luckily he could still hear his voice. "I'm not going to die here! I'll find a hiding place!" yelled Lance desperately as he ran through the stormy night. He just ran and ran for long minutes, feeling neither time nor fatigue. On his face, the rain mixed with his tears. Suddenly, he saw a cave. Without thinking, he ran inside to be sheltered from the storm. "Finally, I'm safe here." Lance curled up on the cave floor. Outside, the storm raged with doubled force. Some small rustling could be heard from inside the cave. What is that?" stammered Lance. Then came a deep, threatening growl, the kind that made Lance's heart skip a few beats. "Oh my God, what is that? A bear?" he screamed, running for his life again, the poor guy. He heard something heavy thundering after him, so he turned around, and then he saw it. "No!" He let out a huge scream. Then darkness. Gabriel ran after Lance towards where he heard the shouts, but this kid ran like a rabbit. Gabriel was much heavier, so he moved with more difficulty on the muddy, slippery ground. Then suddenly, he realized he couldn't hear shouts anymore. That was a very bad sign. Maybe he fell somewhere, or he had really outrun him. But then, he heard Lance's blood-curdling shout, which was more of a scream. And something else. A long, powerful, and threatening roar, perhaps from an animal. Then silence. The hair on the back of his neck and scalp stood up as some ancient instinct tried to warn him. But there was no time to dwell on this. Lance was clearly in danger, so Gabriel pushed himself even harder. Then suddenly, there was Lance lying on the ground. Gabriel examined him closer. Lance was mumbling, but he wasn't fully conscious. In any case, there were no signs of major wounds or broken bones, nor pools of blood, which was a good sign. Gabriel took the most important things out of his backpack, like documents and car keys, and tossed the rest aside. Then he hoisted the semi-conscious Lance onto his back and started heading back to the village with him. "All right, buddy, you'll be fine now. We're going down nicely together," Gabriel soothed Lance. They went downhill for a good while, and Gabriel also had to face the past that had turned into streams, so he could only move slowly. He grumbled to himself, wondering what could have happened to Lance. Suddenly, Lance came to and asked weakly, "Hey, where am I?" "About time. You scared the life out of me. What were you thinking running off like that? What happened to you?" Gabriel shook poor Lance. The wretch almost fainted again. "Ah, my head is splitting. Stop it." Lance came to life. "I have no idea what it was. I was in some cave. Something lived in there. But then, blackout." Lance massaged his head. "All right. We'll talk about it later. Let's hurry down to the others. I'm done with this weather," said Gabriel. Finally, they could move faster now that Lance could walk too. Still, he sometimes asked to be carried on Gabriel's back, claiming dizziness, much to Gabriel's annoyance. Soon they bumped into the lost group, who had been walking in circles until now. The joy was immense. "What's up with you, Milan? Did you choose Sancho after all?" Gabriel laughed heartily. "You're such an idiot." The others laughed too. They rested a bit. Then when Milan and Lance felt better, they set off. At least Lance had some idea of where they were going. They made their way down for a good while. The path wasn't safe. Lightning flashed occasionally, so they could see a little. A couple of trees even crashed down with loud cracking and crunching sounds as the rushing water washed them out. But with incredible luck, they made it out in one piece. Suddenly, the village appeared through a clearing. It was an incredibly good feeling to see it, even in this terrifying storm. From there on, they proceeded with lighter hearts. Slowly, they reached the houses. They saw lightning continuously striking the mountain. It was bad to think that just a short while ago, they were up there too. The first house on the hillside was an old miner's building. "Let's try to go in," Olivia suggested, to the guys' great astonishment. But they didn't have a better idea either. The storm was still raging. Olivia examined the door. "Hey, what is she doing?" Lance asked Sancho. "Well, I guess she's checking if it's open." Sancho tried to act casual about the situation. The door soon opened, and finally, they found themselves in a warm and dry place. As it turned out, it was some kind of miner memorial house filled with all sorts of interesting things. Wow, Olivia, that was something. I didn't expect something like that from a girl. "It's a good thing we found you after all," Gabriel finally admitted. "Well, I'm glad, but please don't tell anyone," Olivia replied with a worried look. The team was finally safe. The storm raged for long hours. During this time, they caught their breath inside, talked, and dried off. Then the wind died down and the thunder stopped rolling. Then the sun started to shine, although the rain was still falling. Finally, the storm clouds disappeared completely, and it was just dripping gently. As usually happens at times like this, a rainbow appeared too. The team came out of the house and basked in the sunlight in the yard. Everyone was in high spirits and laughing huge laughs. Gabriel recounted Lance's rescue in increasingly wild versions. "And then I heard the roar of the bear or whatever," said Gabriel. "Sure, it will be a tiger next, right?" The others laughed. "Bears don't even live in the Matra," Milan lectured him. "But it can happen sometimes," Olivia corrected him.
Hey, what are you doing here? Can't you see the building is locked?
An old but powerful voice boomed from the front of the house. "Sorry, we didn't know. We were just checking out the yard." The young people apologized. "We were just looking for the tree Nora Yeti," said Milan. "Oh, the Yeti. I see. I last saw him at the pub. If you hurry, you'll still find him there."
What? A local wino is the Yeti?
Gabriel was surprised. "Hey, the old guy heard that. Keep it down if you can," Milan scolded him. It's nothing. We're used to it. But go on, hurry. If I see correctly, he's just coming out of the pub now." The old man grinned. "And I was starting to believe in it a little," confessed Gabriel. "Oh, come on, you can't be serious," said Milan. "Hey, Giussi, come over here. There are some city folks here looking for you," the old man shouted to the figure swaying down the street. A white-haired old man was dodging puddles on a strange bike that had 3 wheels. He approached leisurely, weaving back and forth, then stopped in front of the house.
Hi, Yussi. Imagine, you're still famous.
The old man patted the arrival on the shoulder. "These youngsters came from the big city and wanted to see you. You know, back when there was that big rain a few years ago too, and you slipped in the white slag. Then you limped into the village leaning on some tree."
Mondom azt, hogy én görbültelni, akkor ugye haj, szőrös, a tőrde még éle,
Uncle Giussi acted out the scene for them, and, well, there was no denying the resemblance. The team laughed huge laughs at the production. "That is epic," said Sancho. "Hilarious," laughed Olivia too. There were no more mysteries in the village. This trip ended right here and now. The team said goodbye. Lance and Olivia went home separately. Sancho, Milan, and Gabriel went together, just as they had come.